For over 200 years, Japan sealed itself away from the rest of the world. Foreigners were forbidden from entering. Japanese citizens were forbidden from leaving. Yet behind these closed borders, an isolated nation was transforming itself into one of the most powerful countries on Earth. This is the history of Japan. Japan, the land of the rising sun, is a nation renowned for its technologically advanced cities, rich cultural traditions, and immense natural wonders. While it is now one of the world's most sought-after tourist destinations, its openness to the outside world is a relatively recent phenomenon. For over 200 years, from the 17th to the 19th centuries, Japan's borders were firmly closed under a policy known as sakoku. This era of isolation fostered a unique flourishing of culture and internal growth, but it raises a compelling question. How did this isolated island nation transform into the global leader it is today?
The Japanese archipelago has been inhabited for nearly 40,000 years, with early settlers migrating from mainland Asia and introducing agriculture and metalworking. By the 3rd century AD, a centralized power structure emerged in the Yamato region, headed by an emperor. Early Japanese history was deeply influenced by the Asian mainland. Buddhism was introduced from Korea in 552 AD, and the Taika reforms of 645 AD remodeled the political landscape to mirror the Chinese imperial system. In 794 AD, Emperor Kamu established a permanent capital in Kyoto, marking the start of the Heian period.
However, as the imperial court became increasingly preoccupied with internal politics, its authority over the rest of the country waned. Power shifted to local noble elites, giving rise to a feudal system. Powerful regional warrior clans, specifically the Taira and Minamoto, began to challenge the emperor. Following the Genpei War, 1180 to 1185, Minamoto no Yoritomo established a separate military government in Kamakura. In 1192, he was granted the title of shogun, initiating 700 years of military rule.
The samurai's strength was tested in the 13th century, when Kublai Khan's Mongol Empire attempted to invade Japan in 1274 and 1281. On both occasions, the Mongol fleets were decimated by powerful typhoons, which the Japanese called kamikaze, or divine wind. Despite these victories, the defense bankrupted the shogunate, leading to internal strife and a failed imperial coup by Emperor Go-Daigo. By the late 15th century, the feudal system collapsed into the Sengoku Warring States period, a century of constant civil war between regional lords called daimyo. This era also saw the first European contact. In 1543, Portuguese traders arrived, introducing Christianity and, more significantly, firearms. These muskets changed Japanese warfare forever. By 1556, hundreds of thousands of firearms were in use across the country.
3 great leaders eventually unified Japan: Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and finally Tokugawa Ieyasu. Following the decisive Battle of Sekigahara in 1600, Ieyasu established the Tokugawa shogunate in Edo, modern-day Tokyo. To ensure stability, the shogunate implemented the sakoku policy in 1639, strictly forbidding foreign travel and limiting trade to a small Dutch outpost in Nagasaki. For over 2 centuries, Japan experienced a period of unprecedented domestic peace, cultural refinement, and economic growth.
Japan's isolation ended abruptly in 1853, when American Commodore Matthew Perry arrived with a fleet of warships, demanding that Japan open its ports. Realizing they could not match Western military technology, the shogunate capitulated. This sparked outrage among southern provinces, leading to the Boshin War and the downfall of the shogunate. In 1868, power was restored to the young Emperor Meiji. The Meiji Restoration launched a lightning-fast modernization campaign. Japan adopted Western systems of education, banking, and law, and revolutionized its military. By the turn of the 20th century, Japan had become a colonial power, defeating both China, 1895, and Russia, 1905, in major conflicts. In the 1930s, rising nationalism and military expansionism led Japan into the Second Sino-Japanese War and eventually World War II. Following the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, Japan conquered vast territories across Asia and the Pacific. However, the conflict ended in 1945 after the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Under the subsequent Allied occupation led by General Douglas MacArthur, Japan was demilitarized and democratized. Emperor Hirohito remained, but disavowed his divine status. Shifting its focus from military conquest to economic development, Japan staged a remarkable recovery. By 1968, it had become the world's second-largest capitalist economy, leading the world in automobile manufacturing and electronics. Today, Japan stands as a testament to the resilience and tenacity of its people. From the ruins of war, they built a modern nation-state that ranks at the top of global measures for technology, economy, and life expectancy. Forging a path free from the hostilities of the past,